Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Terra podcast. And here we are on podcast episode 358, presented by my Morphin Megaverse Power Rangers Facebook group. And today, as promised, I was going to talk about a certain Power Rangers alumni that I have been wanting to discuss in a video and, well, try to be fair this time because over the years I need to open up on this. So recall that when I discussed about Jason David Frank's, star vehicle of Legend of the White Dragon, which featured three particular Power Rangers alumni, that being Jason Font, who played Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger, and Ciara Hanna, who played Gia, the Yellow Megaforce and Super Megaforce Rangers. One alumni from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that was going to be prominent, that would come to be a part of the project, would be none other than our, Cerina Vincent, who played Maya, the Yellow Lost Galaxy Ranger. But specifically about her in general, because I want to talk about how fair and unfair I was in the past regarding what made her so impactful with the Power Rangers fandom and what impact she put to the franchise, well, if you can put it that way. Every single time I ramble about Lost Galaxy or characters from Lost Galaxy, actors from Lost Galaxy, I never really gave much a fair shot about Cerina. Like, I can understand why a lot of people like her. In the past on this video series or any video related to PRLG, I was always like, Maya is my least favorite Yellow Ranger. But her sex appeal aside and all of that, but you gotta understand, I can see now why she is a fan favorite among the fandom. Because she's also, not only outside of her character, she actually cares about the Power Rangers brand. Much like Jason Font and other Power Ranger actors that have been part of this franchise for years, including even Jason David Frank. Because without us, even without them, we wouldn't even be possible with Power Rangers and keeping the brand very strong. Of course, thinking back to all of the times I said about how, like, looking back on that one video I did 7 years ago around this time, saying about how Maya sucks as a Yellow Ranger, and I need to take back everything I said about her character. Maybe this was coming from the fact that I was very annoyed and jealous about her sex appeal, if you can put it that way, and why a lot of majority of Power Ranger fans like Maya. Well, we know specifically because, outside of Power Rangers and once her time as the Yellow Ranger was up, eventually you should know that out of all of the actors from Lost Galaxy, Cerina was going to be the most successful of all of them once their season was over. And then, of course, you see how big she is with writing children's books. She wrote a children's book recently. She also has her own podcast, much like how I have a podcast talking about Power Rangers and sometimes Super Sentai or whatever's on my mind at the moment. I even talk about some stuff about Lost Galaxy and talk about some of the stuff that we've all speculated what could have been in the season. But then we learn when I discuss about something Die Ranger related, which Linkara had already tacked on in his redo of Lightspeed Rescue for History of Power Rangers around this time last year, about that. But I just thought about, every single time I bring up something Lost Galaxy related, and I don't even hardly have the hard on for Cerina or Maya like a lot of male Power Ranger fans. Because I think what it was, the reason why I hardly ever cared for Cerina in the beginning or throughout 22 years of 23, going on 24, I think it had to do with the fact that, while everybody was all about Maya, the Jungle Princess, part of me was more about the Pink Ranger, Kendricks and Corone to a degree, but mainly Kendricks. Even though I will discuss Kendricks later in a later video, probably in December or something, or as soon as we get into 24 years of Lost Galaxy and 25 years of In Space and all that, and when we have the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers upon us coming. And I really had been passive aggressive, or I'm just like, you know, what's so great about Maya? I mean, yeah, I'll give the character this. Besides her background of her being from the planet Miranoi, where the Quasar Sabers were laid in that rock for thousands and thousands of years in the Power Rangers universe, she's an empath. She gives vibrations of good and bad. At least I'll give Maya that, since she's the most empathetic of all of the Rangers. She has a thing for animals. Yeah, I'll give her that for that as well. Her connection with the Galacta Beast, because, you know, given again her thing for animals. But then what most people see, aside from the character traits of her, is mainly her sex appeal. Because I can understand why she ended up being one of the most hottest female Power Rangers of all time, you know, up there with Kimberly from Mighty Morphin. No offense to anyone who's a Kimberly or Amy Jo Johnson fan, but for someone who wasn't a fan of Maya for a number of years, I mean, I don't have a problem with her being, you know, one of the most sexiest Power Rangers, you know, sexiest female Power Rangers we've had. I mean, I've had my fair share of sexy female Yellow Rangers, like Z from, you know, SPD. I mean, Monica May, who played Elizabeth Z. Delgado from SPD, she's also a sexy as heck Yellow Power Ranger. Even Taylor, the Yellow Wild Force Ranger, and you know how much I like Taylor, and her actress, you know. But then, you know, I've had my fair share of female Power Ranger crushes, and now not every single female Ranger is my favorite, just certain ones. But I understand, like what you like. But the thing was with me, and why I wasn't, like, you know, since I am a Lost Galaxy fan, why do I have such a huge issue with Maya? Like, I shouldn't really have a problem with her, but yeah, in the past, I think I need to debunk why I was so passive aggressive about her character over the years I've been doing this channel, or when I discuss anything about Power Rangers. Maybe it's because, you know, later on, once, you know, she blew up into prominence after Power Rangers, by the beginning of the 2000s, you know, she would hit big with film and television and be one of the many female Power Ranger actors that would make it big in film and television and be a part of the Screen Actors Guild. And, you know, we have a couple of those actors that have been in Power Rangers that have made it big after the time with the Morpher and the with their respective Morphers and spandex. But I could never unfathom, whoa, I dropped my mic. Could never unfathom why everybody fawned over Cerina. Like, yeah, of course, I like Italian women, you know, women with Italian descent in them too. Yeah, I get that. I have a fair share of some Hollywood female celebrities that have Italian in their ancestry and stuff like that, and they're ravishingly beautiful, like Monica Bellucci. So when I look at that, I think about how in that particular point with some of those women, you know, and what they brought to the table to these brands. And, well, I do amend the fact that, yeah, she is the reason that Lost Galaxy was perhaps the most watched season, because even without her, Lost Galaxy would have been nothing. Although I did do a video about Aaron Sims 8 years ago on the podcast, and yeah, it had its fair share of responses, but not much. But then, well, the reason I did that Why Maya Sucks video back in 2015, well, around the time in 2015, because at that time, Watch Mojo, who is known for being one of the most notorious top 10, top 20 type channels on YouTube here, have always did, you know, Watch Mojo did start taking it slow on doing top 10 videos on Power Rangers with the start of, like, you know, but what got my attention thinking back to that video, and when I said about how, like, oh, Maya sucks, and like what made her one of the hottest female Power Rangers then, and I know, I bet you in the comments section back when that video was originally published, that video, for those who were wondering, why is Kimberly not number one? Because, you know, anyone who's a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan will be like, you know, Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson will always be number one, and all of that. But then, For anyone who's not a fan of any Power Rangers outside of Mighty Morphin, and when they see that Yellow Lost Galaxy, Maya Cerina was going to be on the list at number 1, because I think a lot of men who've seen her work after Power Rangers Lost Galaxy had already got the idea why they put her at the top number 1 and dethroning A to the Double J and her Kimberly Hart character from the Mighty Morphin era. Obviously, I also want to talk about, the 2 notable films she did after Power Rangers. That being Cabin Fever, which is Eli Roth's horror cult classic film about the flesh-eating virus, where you have college students going out to this remote cabin and they're affected by that virus, and Serena's character of Marcy was infected by it. And then, of course, the most notorious one, her first big film debut, Not Another Teen Movie, which was basically, them just capitalizing on what the American Pie movies were doing at the time. You know how much I fucking don't like those kind of movies. And, knowing American Pie, when that movie came out, I was only a little kid. So I would not understand any of that raunchy college kid humor, early 20-something college humor back then. But even as an adult now at 30 years old, you know how much I still don't like movies like American Pie or any film that was trying to knock off its success. Yeah, Not Another Teen Movie was that. And of course, what other notable actor that would play a superhero recently would be in that movie beforehand? Chris Evans, who would later be the Human Torch in those mid-2000s Fantastic Four films. And of course, Steve Rogers, Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Speaking of that, would it be cool if Cerina Vincent, who played a Power Ranger, imagine if we did get Cerina in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DCEU somehow, have a former Power Ranger like Cerina Vincent be in either the MCU or the DCEU. How cool would that be? And what hero or villain should Cerina play in something like that, since she's in the Screen Actors Guild? All time will tell. Anyway, but even though but Not Another Teen Movie, but I can understand why a lot of you guys out there have been fawning over her, even outside of Power Rangers and whatnot. Because when you saw her in that movie, Not Another Teen Movie, I know y'all, especially for some of y'all that were teenagers when that movie came out in the early 2000s and college students in the early 2000s, y'all knew exactly why she became the most attractive of the entire Lost Galaxy cast, and if not all of Power Rangers. Just because in NATM, that being Not Another Teen Movie for an abbreviation, she was that foreign exchange nudist student in the film where she showed all of her skin in that film. Cabin Fever also, but Cabin Fever was rather more a serious nightmare fuel horror film, in which solidified Cerina to Scream Queen status, and she has done horror movies since. But when it came to her first foray into comedy post Power Rangers, she was the first Power Ranger actor in a movie or TV show outside of the brand where she would show her assets that y'all have been wanting to see her do after Power Rangers, and even always imagining what her character would look like nude. But be honest, I can understand why you guys all, And honestly, I'm not going to go there, because personally, I'm not jealous that, women like her is like that. I mean, I had my fair share of Italian women that, because, Italian women, even French women, you pose nude and all of that for some photographs and stuff, but, that's part of the nature of it. But here's another thing with me and Power Rangers actors, actors that have been on the franchise. As much as I've always associated with these actors as that Ranger they played in what season, or the villain they played in that season or before the season, or a lot of the time I don't really follow what a lot of these Power Ranger actors have done after their time with the spandex and the morphers and Zords are up, but I just honestly every now and then I'll, see them crop up on any TV show that I watch in rerun syndication. And other times, if I see them in a certain movie with a certain Marvel actor, DC film actor, or Star Wars actor, I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up just because, even when their time on Power Rangers is over, these guys can do whatever they like with their lives and their careers. That's great for them. But, again, not another teen movie. I never seen the movie. I know a lot of people have been crazy about the film simply for Cerina Vincent, because I get that, since Lost Galaxy, she was the standout of the entire cast of that team. And I mean, honestly, I wasn't that crazy. Like I said before, I wasn't crazy about Maya all that much. Yeah, she may be our first scantily clad female Power Ranger in the Yellow Ranger slot. But yeah, we've had Kimberly and Mighty Morphin, but but again, for any Mighty Morphin fan who is probably still holding a grudge against Watch Mojo for that hottest female Power Ranger video, I can understand why you're probably mad because y'all's Queen of all Pink Rangers wasn't number one in that video 7 years ago. But again, Watch Mojo is very biased about top 10 anything and what they think is agreeable or disagreeable to their lists. But even when I even did that video, and immediately minutes after I saw the video, that's when I decided, you know what, let me do a video on why Maya sucks. But I realized I should have never even, now looking back 7 years later, I should have never did that video. I guess I did it out of bitterness and jealousy because, Lost Galaxy Yellow is just like I'm so jealous that, I like Kimberly. Yeah, Corone was in the video in that top 10 female Power Rangers video of theirs from 7 years ago, but Corone didn't make it. I know the reason why Kendricks wasn't on the list, because, maybe it's because she was just too nerdy for their hottest female Power Ranger type video. Well, if Kendricks wasn't wearing glasses and wasn't socially awkward, she could have been on that list. But yet female Rangers like Tori and Kira, even though I don't like Kira, that's another Yellow Ranger I don't like personally. And then of course, Gia from Megaforce, she's on that list, because I mean, again, I saw the video. Now, I know I've done a video about Gia from Megaforce, coincidentally, since her, Ciara Hanna and Cerina Vincent are in JDF's Legend of the White Dragon movie. But Cerina plays the mother of Jenna Frank's character, since, because of course, Serena's up there, much like any actress in Hollywood, once you're over 40, you're the mom, grandmother, aunt, somebody's wife role. But even regardless, she'll always still be the yellow Lost Galaxy Ranger to a lot of us Power Ranger fans. But the thing is with a lot, even aside from Not Another Teen Movie or Cabin Fever or Power Rangers, of course, back in the 2010s when I was no longer watching, even though I don't watch Disney Channel anymore because I kind of grew out of that. I long grew out of that a long time ago. I had no idea Cerina Vincent was a mom on the Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle. That's kind of crazy. There's 3 TV shows I knew during my lifetime and 30 years of life that had the word middle in its title. Malcolm in the Middle, The Middle, with Patricia Heaton in them. And then this Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle, which Cerina Vincent was in. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, I know for a fact that Melody Perkins and Cerina Vincent were both had guest spots on Malcolm in the Middle back when that show was on back in the day, in the 2000s. Melody was on an episode of Malcolm first before Cerina did, which, that's nice. Because I did not see Cerina Vincent's guest spot on Malcolm in the Middle for one episode. When I binge watch Malcolm in the Middle, somewhere, I'm going to find out what episode Cerina was on when Malcolm was hot and fresh on TV back in the day. Now, as for that Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle, I don't watch Disney Channel no more because, again, the last time I watched anything on Disney Channel was back in the 2000s when shows like Lizzie McGuire, The Proud Family, and, yes, Kim Possible was on back in the day. But after that stuff, and once they started putting on crap like Hannah Montana, I grew out of it. And because not Cartoon Network, Disney Channel was putting on more girly shows, and that Allie and AJ show, and then The Sweet Life with Zach and Cody and all that, Corey in the House and all that back in the 2000s, and then whatever Disney Channel stuff in the 2010s, even whatever Disney Channel original movies that were on during the 2010s. But when Cerina was on the Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle. Now, I never watched the show. And if it's on Disney Plus, I'll probably watch it and see what her character of whose mom she played for that whole series, because again, I never watched the series, but I'll give it a chance. But however, what made me want to open up on Cerina, aside from Legend of the White Dragon, and what else she's done after Power Rangers Lost in Galaxy, and in between Power Rangers, and what she's dealing with now in film and television and whatnot, podcasting and writing children's books. What made me want to open up to Cerina just now was I was watching a movie of hers from not so long ago, or was it 2018, 2019, one of them years. And I was watching a movie she was in. It was a movie that I believe was like on Lifetime Movie Network or something. This movie called The Work Wife, where she played this woman who works in this office building with this one guy. It was kind of like one of those knockoff Fatal Attraction like movies, because knowing me, I'm a sucker for those kind of movies, those female stalker movies where you're so obsessed with this one man that you find out is happily married or in a relationship, and then when you can't get that man, you get so crazy, you want that man so much. And I did not know, and I was like, oh damn, Cerina Vincent was playing that too. I was like, because when I was watching the movie on Tubi TV not so long ago, it was like back late the summer when I watched the movie, when I was binge watching crap movies and stuff on Tubi TV, and when I was watching movies that was on Lifetime Movie Network and all that on Tubi. Yes, Lifetime has a contract with Tubi TV to stream their stuff. And when I was watching that movie, The Work Wife, I was surprised that I was like, man, she went from playing a Power Ranger to a Scream Queen to a nudist from that teen American Pie knockoff movie that everybody likes to jack off to so much, to playing a Fatal Attraction-esque secretary in this one movie, and then also playing a mom on a Disney Channel show. But I'm just like, wow. I mean, with Cerina Vincent, she is irresistible as an artist and as an actress. I mean, I have to give her that, though. I mean, she's played almost every role she played under the sun, from Power Rangers to Cabin Fever to that Stuck in the Middle show on Disney Channel to, wow. And even she had her fair share of some TV movies after long after Power Rangers also. Yeah. But The Work Wife, it was going to be a typical Lifetime movie, but, it was, how Lifetime movies are, and, how those films can be. But seeing a former Power Ranger, actress doing that, I'm like, doing that movie, I'm like, wow. I'm like, after I seen The Work Wife, I'm like, man, I wonder if, I know that Cerina may be in her mid-40s right now, but if there was a future type movie like The Work Wife she would do again, or this is probably the only time she'll play a psycho, crazy woman who wished she had that man she wished she had role. Because, and I was like, after watching that movie for an hour and 25 minutes, I was like, and to think I used to see her as the Yellow Ranger in Power Rangers Lost in Galaxy growing up. I was like, yeah, man. And, and coincidentally, because, speaking of Lost in Galaxy, in my upcoming fan film reboot of Power Rangers Lost in Galaxy, I was already envisioning Trakina to be that kind of Fatal Attraction-like stalker to the Red Ranger in my fan film. I mean, since OG Maya in that movie of Work Wife did it, but again, that's what made me want to think about it, because, she did that movie. I mean, know how people feel about movies that are on Lifetime Movie Network. They're fluff, but she did it. And then there was this other movie she did that I saw her in that was also a Lifetime TV movie, Secrets in the Water, I think. And it was about, her daughter being, she disappeared, died, and all that stuff. And she also played that role, too. Yeah, she played that role. I do remember back before that stuff, but a while ago, back when 2.5 Men was a thing, during Charlie Sheen's final 2 seasons or so of 2.5 Men. I remember catching an episode rerun of 2.5 Men where Cerina Vincent was on that episode when she was making out with Charlie Sheen on that one episode of 2.5 Men. And I was like, oh, damn, Cerina Vincent was on an episode of 2.5 Men? Oh, she strikes again. But now, the break it off with that, well, again, 2.5 Men was a thing, and, you know, back when Charlie Sheen was on the show, but back a long time ago in 2014, I did do a video about 2.5 Men, but I think I've deleted it because I don't think people wanted to hear me ramble on like a crazy 21 going on 22-year-old nut at the time, rambling about how 2.5 Men sucks and stuff. You know, I can't stand that show. It's stupid. It's garbage. It's all about Charlie having sex with a bunch of women that are so hot and promiscuous and all that. Well, but that's how I was 2014 when I did that video about 2.5 Men. But then when I think about like her impact with the Power Rangers fandom, well, of all the fan art I've seen of Maya, sexy or so otherwise, I guess I can see why she is up there as one of the sexiest female Power Rangers of all time. Now, the Maya I'm doing for Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2022-2023, I don't know if I should retain the sex appeal Cerina's Maya had for the fan film version of the character that I'm doing, but with the actress I got. But, like, maybe I was just, like, I don't know. Maybe I was a bit envious of her sex appeal for a Yellow Ranger. I don't know. I mean, when you look at Ashley, the yellow turbo-turned Space Ranger, you know, Tracy Lynn Cruz, who played Ashley, the yellow Turbo Ranger and yellow Space Ranger in the second half of Turbo and all of In Space. Even she was one of the hottest female Power Rangers, and especially the hottest Yellow Ranger in my mind. And even though, I mean, Cerina and Tracy did play the roles of Ashley and Maya very well. Yeah, I'll give them that. Even though I've always been more into Ashley. Ashley was my crush, Yellow Ranger crush of the Zordon era. Nothing. Yeah, well, even though Trini from Mighty Morphin, you know, since I have a thing for Asian women. But, you know, since Tui may be gone, but, you know, without Tui Trang, none of these women would play these Yellow Ranger roles, even men as well. But, you know, without Tui, none of these women and men who would play the Yellow Ranger for future Power Ranger seasons, including Cerina Vincent or Tracy Lynn Cruz or Allison Kipperman or any of those other actresses that have played Yellow Rangers, even Nakia Burress or Karen Ashley and all those other female, you know, women who have played the Yellow Ranger, even Ciara Hanna and all of them, you know, wouldn't be where they are without Tui. And when it came to the legacy of the Yellow Ranger. And, you know, Cerina has done a lot for the Power Rangers fandom, giving back to fans and all that other stuff. Okay, I'll give her that. Yeah, I do follow her on Instagram and stuff like that. On one of her live streams for a virtual book signing, I think she actually noticed me as Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film once. Yeah, lucky me. Will I ever meet her at a convention? Well, that depends on where my situation is financially and whatnot. In person, like a lot of Power Ranger fans, well, that depends. Even though I've always wanted the dreams of the fact that I've always wanted to be, you know, as a Power Rangers fan and a Lost Galaxy fan, was to meet the Lost Galaxy cast at conventions. I've been longing that since I was like, once I got fresh out of high school in 2011, but when Power Morphicon 2012 happened, I started having that dream since. Even though I was not going to meet everybody that was from Lost Galaxy, since after all, Danny Slavin, who played Leo, he's doing the court judge stuff, you know, district attorney and sort of thing. Reggie, you know, Reggie Roll, who played Damon, you know, whatever he's doing up nowadays. Valerie Vernon, who played Kendricks and what she's up to. You know, Archie, you know, come to think of it, of all the Lost Galaxy actors, Archie, Cal, and Cerina Vincent are the only two actors from Lost Galaxy that are still working as actors in film and television. But Archie is like overseas. Cerina is still here in the U.S. So, and even partly doing some movies in Canada for Lifetime and all of that, but in L.A. But as for the other actors from Lost Galaxy, Danny Slavin is a court judge or district attorney, one of them. Reggie Roll is doing who knows what. Valerie Vernon doing who knows what. I had no idea Russell Lawrence, after his time on Power Rangers, would be a chef at some sort of a fancy-ass restaurant. I did not know. And no wonder he went off the grid for a number of years until we found him. We found him. And even I found him. Well, on Instagram, not like in real life or anything. And you know, of course, Melody Perkins, who played Astronema and Corone in both In Space and Lost Galaxy. Well, with Melody and what's been going on with her lately, she has appeared in a couple of Power Morphicon conventions and stuff. But I don't know if I should do a video about Melody and her impact with Power Rangers with her Astronema and Corone characters, much like with Cerina and Maya here. And you know, of course, of all the times I love to talk about Trakina, but I need to chill out about Amy Miller Role. It's not her I'm all about. It's Trakina, the character. Separate the actors from the character. Even though the impact that Amy brought to Trakina and her character and what made her one of the greatest female villains in all of Power Rangers and Power Ranger villains in general. But I need to chill out with her after a number of years. But again, I knew eventually somewhere down the line, and as much as I was being too much of a passive-aggressive jerk because of her being one of the hottest female Power Rangers, it's time to stop that negativity about Cerina Vincent I'm doing, because maybe I was just jealous. Even when you listen to the theme song every episode of Lost Galaxy, when you get her cast shot, the theme song seemed like the theme song would have an orgasm when she comes on screen, and before cutting to like Mike or Trakina's cast shots, you know. I guess I could see why everybody likes the meme about that some of the time, because, well, she was going to be the standout of the cast. Basically, Maya was likely the Wonder Woman and Xena Warrior Princess of Yellow Rangers, in a way. Even though I do like Wonder Woman and Xena, and given the impact those female characters in fiction have done, and, you know. But also with her in Legend of the White Dragon, like, I almost wonder how much screen time she will have in Legend of the White Dragon, even though she's just only playing, I don't know if she's playing the wife of JDF's, character Eric Reed or anything, but I'll find out when Legend of the White Dragon comes out. But again, I'm going to watch Legend of the White Dragon. And when I see it, when it comes out in 2023 on YouTube, on Bat and the Sun's YouTube channel, I like to see how I feel about that, because, because when you think about it, her, JDF, Jason Font, and Ciara Hanna, actors like them do care about the Power Rangers franchise, and even the fans, because, lately I've been pretty much of a really crappy Power Rangers fan, for not liking Maya, and especially if I'm a Lost Galaxy fan, I should be ashamed of myself, being jealous because of her Miranoian jungle princess beauty and all that, and sex appeal. I mean, Corone with her little leather black attire after being Astronema turned Pink Ranger thing with her and her attire with her in civilian form outside of the Lost Galaxy pink suit, but there you have it, folks, because, I need to take back everything I said about that in that Why Maya Sucks video, and other videos where I make statements about Maya in a negative light. Maybe it's because, well, I get they were trying to figure out what to do with her character, because it seems like, the common thing about being a Yellow Ranger, male or female in Power Rangers, and somewhat Super Sentai, when you're the Yellow Ranger, male or female, on a Sentai or Ranger team, you're always like that, backup Ranger. You're basically just there in the background. But there have been a few Yellow Rangers and Power Rangers that had some focus in their seasons, like Taylor and Wild Force, like I mentioned. While Katie and Time Force may be one of my favorite Yellow Rangers and one of my favorite characters from Time Force, but she didn't have much story for her going on, but she was just there. Same go for Trip and Lucas, because again, Time Force was all about Wes and Jen and even Eric. Lightspeed Rescue with Kelsey, as much as I don't like Kelsey either, but I have to understand without her and Maya, we wouldn't even have those two Yellow Ranger women, and especially with her actress Sasha Greg, Sasha Greg who played Kelsey, Lightspeed Rescue Yellow, and then even some other Yellow Ranger actresses. Even though I still don't like Kira, but Emma Lahana is on to better things, and even though she doesn't want anything to do with Power Rangers, well, to each her own, I guess. But then other actresses that have been on Power Rangers, especially I do have other female Yellow Rangers that I have crushes on, like Summer, Rose McIver. Then you got Lily, Anna Hutchinson. Now, Caitlin Murphy, who played Ronnie, the Yellow Overdrive Ranger, starting to grow on me a little bit. Even though I still don't like Operation Overdrive and its cast of characters, given how they were, say for Rose. Then Samurai, I've always liked Brittany Ann Pirtle, who played Emily, the Yellow Samurai Ranger. She is one of my few reasons why Samurai was worth watching. And Ciara Hanna, for all the flack I still give Megaforce and Super Megaforce, but Gia was the reason Megaforce was actually, worth watching. Even the 2 seasons of it sucked. And then, of course, I like Zoe, her actress who played her. I keep forgetting her name all the time. I know her face and all that, even though she played Beast Morphers Yellow, but yeah, so I gotta understand, without any of those women, the Yellow Rangers would have been like where they are, and the actresses that played them wouldn't be where they are in their careers either. So yeah. So even without further ado, with our first Yellow Ranger of post Zordon going forward, I need to give proper respects for Cerina Vincent for paving the way for Yellow Rangers post Zordon going forward, with Rangers like Kelsey, Katie, Taylor, and Kira. I'm talking specifically the women in the Yellow Ranger slot. Men in the Yellow Ranger slot, well, that will be another discussion for another day with them, because heck, why do you think I've talked about me being the Yellow Lost Galaxy Ranger in another universe in a fan film series of Lost Galaxy? And man, I don't know how I feel if I told Cerina that when I did a fan film of PRLG, I was once the Yellow Ranger for a separate continuity or anything. But I don't even know any of the Power Ranger actors would feel of that. But until then, I just gotta realize I have to give respect and mad props to the actress who's paved the way for Yellow Rangers for post Zordon after Ashley going forward, with Ashley being a Zordon era Yellow Ranger, especially Trini and Aisha and Tanya, and what those 4 women who played the Yellow Ranger in Zordon's era of Rangers paved the way for Rangers starting from Maya going forward for post Zordon, from Lost Galaxy through right now. Even though Dino Fury does not have a Yellow Ranger, nor does Dino Charge, but then again. So anyway, I feel like I've said enough, and that's it.